on? How y'all doing? What's going on? How about that? We are supposed to be live, so everybody sit up and pay attention. We got a doozy for you. Gotta get them volumes correct. Last night wasn't just another year off year election. That's what we're talking about. Last night was a referendum. A message loud and clear. Unmistakable. The Democrats didn't just win, they punched through. Pow, pow. Yeah, they punched through. And the man screaming, and so it begins. That ain't no rallying cry. Sound more like a panic alarm to me. So let's unpack what really went down. Let's talk about why it matters. And let's talk about why Trump's little fireworks on Truth Social don't change the facts. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get all of the videos and the lives that we do over here. Grand rising to everybody who know that's down with the phrase. Peace to all the positive people in the universe. What's good, Virginia? Shout out to my people in Richmond, Virginia, and hotep to the Pan-African Black world. And if I ain't covered all my bases with all of that, this is the home of everybody else who likes to look beyond the smoke and mirrors. So we're going to talk about this Democratic blue wave in which the red folk got drowned. We got New York City, Zohran Mamdani. Assalamu alaikum to everybody that know what that means. The first Muslim mayor of the city. Youngest in over a century. Capturing more votes than all his opponents combined. How's that for a smackdown? Now, right beside New York City, you got New Jersey Governor Mickey Sherrill keeping the state in Democratic hands, thank goodness. But there was a strong GOP push, which means it's a strong GOP loss. In California, the ballot measure, Proposition 50, passed to redraw congressional maps in favor of the Democrats. So how's that for a 1-2 punch? Because you saw, if you didn't, I'll tell you. But you saw the Republicans was already running around the country, South Carolina, North Carolina, I think maybe Louisiana and Texas, trying to redraw the map so they can get rid of the Democrats, but in particular so they can get rid of black and brown representation. Heavy on the black. And I would be remiss if I didn't say we're going to talk about Virginia today. Yeah, we're going to talk about the first female elected governor in the state of Virginia, Abigail Spanberger. She took the trophies. All told, the Democrats dominated the key races, especially in regions where folks said loud and clear, we are done with the chaos. We are finished with the fear-mongering. We don't care about the Republican gaslighting. You see, when GOP talking points boil down to, we lost because Trump wasn't on the ballot. Yeah, okay. We see you. We hear what's really going on. Ain't no confidence in that. That's what you call defeatism in a Truth Social tweet. But for real, though, we're going to get to the heart of this thing. Let's get real, because these were not just wins. They were not run-of-the-mill wins. These were warning shots. Warning shots, I said. Yeah, I said it. Voters looked at the Trump-era performance. I mean, the man has been in. This is November, so we got, 10 and a half months, 11. This is the 11th month. And it's been an ultimate disaster. So voters looked at his performance thus far. They looked at his agenda. They surveilled the damage he's been doing. They took stock. They took notes on all of the division that's been flaming up. And they said, no, thank you. That's okay. We don't want it. The Democrats didn't win by squeaking by. This was not neck and neck. They won with margin. Ladies and gentlemen, they won with strong margin. This is one of those mandates We want change margin, like what Obama brought forth. And that map shuffle in California, that ain't micro policy. That's strategy. That's making sure that the next fight starts from a smarter, stronger position. Because we are done with the same old battleground. Now, even though Kamala Harris may not have won, one of her chants still holds true. We're not going back. We're not going back. This is not Back to the Future. So when Trump says, the results don't count, when Taco Man says, I wasn't on the ballot, so it's not a reflection of me, let's call it what it is. One more distraction. Now, we've had enough of the distractions. One more way to avoid looking at why he and his brand keep getting rejected. He's losing in the courts. And yeah, we know he's still moving forward with his Project 2025 agenda. And yeah, we know he's ignoring the court decisions. But you gotta count them court decisions for what they are. They are the block. They are the obstacle. And he wants to continue saying, the people don't hate me. You got my name wrong. Nah, now I'm not gonna play games with the word hate. But the voters sure remember all of the mess you've been doing this year. And that's the official stamp of rejection. Now, this is all well and good. That's all, the Democratic blue wave is drowning the Republicans. But like I said, we're going to talk about Virginia today. So let's zero in on one of the most remarkable wins. Jay Jones. Yeah, I'm skipping down to Jay Jones. Yes, it is remarkable. It is record-breaking. It is history-making that Virginia has now has a woman governor. But Jay Jones, once a delegate, Jay Jones becoming Virginia's next attorney general by defeating the incumbent, no less. And see, what makes this win especially telling is that huge scandal they thought they was going to sink him with. Yeah, y'all heard about it. I know you know what it is. We ain't going to hash it over again. We ain't going to we not going to read into them. But those 2022 text messages that surfaced, and I hear tell they surfaced in a less than honorable manner. And they suggested violence against the GOP leader. Pum, pum, y'all know about the pum, pums. But you see, the Republican machine thought that was going to be the wedge. They said, hey, this guy, he should be disqualified. Y'all remember the what was it called? The debate. And Winston Sears standing up there. Won't you say anything? Are you going to dispose of him? No. That man knew what was up. He was not going to get out the race because he knew the deal. He knew what he stood for. And so did the voters. So no, he was not disqualified. And no, the link did not sink him. Why? Because this was the voters' chance to make it loud and clear. We tired of the games. We tired of the gaslighting. We want people that's going to fight for the rest of us. The billionaires got everything that they need. So we didn't buy it. The voters didn't buy it. We said, we see them scare tactics. We see what you're trying to do. We don't like that kind of drama. Guess what? We're going to still vote for change. Jones won despite the leak. Jones won despite the controversy. Jones won despite the clutching of the pearls. Oh my God, look at what he said. So yes, the scandal was real. The threat was fabricated. And the outcome flip. And that flip tells you much more about what the electorate is ready for. Not just a shift of party, but a shift of expectation. Now, I would be remiss if I don't dive deeper down the rabbit hole of why Jay Jones winning is huge. Because the position that he's just been elected to, Attorney General of Virginia, do y'all know this is the exact role that holds the legal power of the state, of the Commonwealth, to stand up to the federal government, to the Trump administration, when it crosses the line? For example, when the current federal administration, when they're not busy redesigning ballrooms, and they threaten to withhold pay from federal workers, and we all know Virginia has one of the highest numbers of federal workers. When the current administration is not busy sending billions of dollars to Israel and billions of dollars to, I think it was Venezuela or whoever it was, when they're not busy throwing American farmers under the bus, and they want to turn around and tell the good folks of the country, we ain't got no money for you to buy some food, when they threaten to withhold SNAP benefits, including hundreds of thousands right here in Virginia. The job of deciding whether Virginia sues, whether Virginia fights back, how Virginia fights back, that is the job of the Attorney General. So we got a fighter in the office. We got somebody that has already pledged, we gonna go to D.C. and we getting some checks. What this means in plain language, when the federal government shifts against the people, against the people's welfare, against their commonwealth, when the federal government decides we don't want y'all to have any food assistance, we don't care if y'all are employed or not, we don't want you to get a paycheck, you guys don't need protections. Virginia now has someone who campaigned on saying, oh, I'm gonna fight that. Not somebody that's gonna say, oh, what now? Not somebody that's gonna say, huh? Who? Well, I'm not sure what we can do. This is not just a symbolic victory. This is a strategic victory. You put your soldiers in place, you put them in the proper place, and they can fight the right battle for you. So yes, the win is about who won, but even more about what the office means. Because the next time someone tries to roll back support for Virginians, it won't just be talk. It won't just be a threat with nothing to go against it. There will be lawsuits. And here's the most interesting part of it, because other states have sued. And other states have won. And when you sue the federal government for things it wasn't supposed to do, and when you win in court, the state gets the money back that the federal government said, we ain't got no money. The judge says, yes, you do, get up. So that's really why it's important. So let me underline this. It wasn't just the win, it was the context of the win. This man won in spite of people saying, well, you can't even mention his name on the campaign trail no more. This man won in spite of the leak, in spite of the attempt to demonize him, in spite of the fallback song of the old guard. Oh my God, what did he say? Y'all still failed. That means for the GOP, the old playbook, leak, fear, guilt trip. I'm not saying it's dead, but it sure is losing a lot of its grip on things. Maybe it's on life support. Maybe we should be pulling the plug on it. Because it no longer carries the weight it once did. At least not here in the state of Virginia. For Democrats, now y'all got a blueprint. Build the momentum, stick to the message, take the risk, and you can still win. Take the risk. I don't mind. Let me ad lib for just a hot second. Who knows if Biden had taken the risk instead of bowing out, he may still have won. And another thing, as I move along in this conversation, and another thing, if you're familiar with my morning musings, then you know why I'm doing that. Jay Jones isn't just the winner take all, but it's not just the fact that he won against the Republicans. It's not just the fact that he won against the smear campaign. There's been a lot of talk about whether Winsome Sears won, so glad that she didn't, or Abigail Spencer won. It would be historically groundbreaking that a woman would be running the state. Well, guess what? Jay Jones is the first black attorney general in Virginia's history. That's right. In the Commonwealth, born out of the Confederate legacy. Don't tell me this don't matter. He stands on a generational lineage of freedom fighters. Now, maybe you might want to challenge me because some people feel a certain way about freedom fighters. I would at least say of civil rights fighters. If you don't think that civil rights fighters were exactly necessarily technically fighting for freedom, I give you space and grace for that. But this man is a third generation of fighters, however you break it down. His grandfather broke down the school board segregation. His father broke the glass ceiling in government. And now he's stepping into the state's top law enforcement office. So shout out to Jay Jones for beating all the odds, for standing his ground when everybody told him step down. So in Virginia's case, when the opposition says, we're going to use your words against you, the electorate said, yeah, we know what we heard, but we also know what we want. We also know where we want to go. And we also know only one candidate can get us there. Only one party can get us there. So yeah, the chief ballroom planner yells, and so it begins. Maybe he should be watching Virginia a little bit closer. Because the beginning isn't what he thinks it is. It doesn't belong to him, it belongs to us. We the people. The beginning is ours. The state where the old guard tried all the same old tricks and lost anyhow. There's a signal in that. There's growing momentum in that. And for everybody watching, so what kind of win are you talking about? This is the kind of win that can change the map. This is the kind of win that changes the narrative. If you think this is just the beginning of something, well, yeah, you better believe it. But it's not the beginning of some new neo-fascist Trump era. Oh no. Or at least I'll say it this way. Perhaps it's the beginning of the end of the neo-fascist America. Now, I don't know what's going on in the man's mind. I don't even think the psychologists know what's going on in the man's mind. Does he fancy himself to be like Neo, just plugged into the Matrix? Does he expect red pills to drop out the sky? I mean, let's reiterate. Let's recheck the scoreboard. A new mayor in New York City. Nah, that don't quite do it. A new mayor in New York City who they want to call, who's an immigrant. A new mayor in New York City, an immigrant, a Muslim of a much younger generation than the old guard ever thought could possibly run a campaign successfully. A man who represents new ideas, not nostalgia, not fear, not hate. This is a very telling scoreboard. Governors in states saying, we are done with the old guard. Voters not beginning to show up because they came out. I still say, and this is just speculation, allegedly, I'm telling you something is wrong with the voting count of the last presidential election. But that's neither here nor there. But the voters came out and they showed through the numbers. And so Orangutan's line sounds like the villain after the hero lands the crucial punch. And so it begins. No, how about and so it ends? At least for the old guard. The era of chaos, the era of grievance mining, the Trump era has begun its swan song. Its long kiss goodnight. At least for me, that's the way I'm taking it. That's my probable perspective. Let's hope all the fit throwing, chest beating with pride, even when you're oblivious. Let's hope that this is the beginning of the end of the narcissistic gaslighting and blame shifting that is the calling card of the MAGA Republican Party. Because when you lose, when you're supposed to win, when you lose, when you've rigged the game, because when you lose, when your name should carry weight, oh, that's the beginning, all right. That is the poster child. That is the dictionary definition of the beginning of the end. We are witnessing a collapse of the neo-fascist era. But let me slow it down for one hot second before I get up out of here. We're not done partying. Oh, we partying. But we're not done partying. Now, let me see if I can tell you what I mean. Okay, so what is it that I mean? We still got 2026, and that is going to be a big deal. These wins from tonight, this is clear signs of momentum, but this is by no means the finish line. Now we got new blood for the Democrats. We got new narratives. We have a roadmap. Now, I don't know why the Democrats have not created their own version of Project 2025, but we at least have a roadmap. We have strong bullet points: affordability, housing, economic pressure. This is what is resonating with the people. Because prices are going up through the roof. That man got on TV the other night and said the country is doing great. Now, clearly he was only talking about the big wigs and the billionaires. But it rubs somebody the wrong way. Now, as long as the Republicans keep blaming Democrats for a shutdown that the Republicans started, and it amazes me, you got all the power to shut it down. But then you come out whining like a little bee, talking about, we need your help to open it up. If you can close the door by yourself, if you can lock the door by yourself, then clearly you hold the key. You can unlock the door and open it by yourself. So stop trying to ignore policy. Stop trying to lean on nostalgia. Or keep trying to ram down the throats of the American people your own private billionaire funded fascism, and even more and more voters will see the light. Now, I heard tell, anecdotally speaking, more young people came out to vote than ever. I heard tell, anecdotally, allegedly, so I can't prove that. Now, my anecdote is that's the conversation when I went to go vote. The the election staff in the building were just all aflutter talking about how many young people they've seen in this election. And you could tell from the way in which they were saying it. They were thrilled, they were pleased, they were happy and ecstatic. But they were election staff who've been here before. These were not newbies. They wouldn't have such a conversation. But they were thrilled at how many young people that they were seeing coming to just that one polling station. That should be. That's something to look into. That's something to be very interested in. Because with all the hate mongering, with all of the billionaire backed, big, beautiful bill bullish that they're peddling, in 2026, there will be even more 18-year-olds who've had enough, who've seen the light, and who will come out to vote. And that means that the billionaire class will lose yet again. And that's the takeaway. That's the proper perspective. That's why that's this momentum thing. The people spoke and they didn't whisper. They didn't whisper. They yelled. The people spoke and they yelled. They said they are ready for something else. They said fascism is not the way. They said we are not going back. So if you can ride the wave, you get on it now and you ride the wave. But know this, it is just the beginning. The union of change, the union of voting, the union, the spirit, the zeitgeist of hope demands that we stay focused. Yeah, last night was the scoreboard. And the scoreboard is read quite clearly. The announcement is loud and clear. So let's ride this wave and let's build with this. It's not just the time to say we won. The victory parties, hell, the victory parties was thrown last night. Now it's time to, what is that phrase? I'm forgetting the name of that phrase. Now, what I will just say, now it's time to focus. Let's get her done. Because real victory isn't in the post. It's in the next move. That's the proper perspective. And that's my mic drop. Like, share, and subscribe is the name of the game. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, pro-Black, Pan-African people, wherever you might be, if you're watching this, let me know where you're listening at. Let me know where you're from. Drop it in the comment section. The algorithm is the gatekeeper. So hit the buttons. Hit all the buttons. Y'all know it don't cost you nothing. It do assist me, though. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, share this with somebody. Tell a friend. As a matter of fact, tell a friend to tell a friend. Keep these trolls off my comment section. I hope what I said resonated with you. If it is, then you hit the like button, you hit the subscribe button, you share this, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.